for the college. Both because this is our 20th anniversary year, and because His Excellency Medgar Garba has agreed to celebrate it with us by addressing those of you who are assembled here. The program is simple. After I speak, President of the college, Dr. Edison Jackson, will give brief welcoming to our guests. Then Dr. Mary Mogul will introduce our guests. We begin the program with something very special. We're all aware of what happened on Sunday, that Nelson Mandela, after 27 years of imprisonment, is now free, as free as anyone can be who is black in South Africa. To this end, President Jackson has made the following proclamation, which I shall read. For this celebration and the commemoration of Black History Month 1990, and on the occasion of the presence of Major General Garba of Nigeria, President of the General Assembly of the United Nations, on the campus of Medgar Evers College, be it resolved that, whereas on February 11, 1990, Nelson Mandela was released from a South African prison after 27 years of unjust imprisonment. Whereas the struggle for human rights inside South Africa and worldwide continues. Whereas this college community and African Americans and other Americans of goodwill strongly support those struggles. Whereas this date, February 14th, is the birthday of Frederick Douglass, who said, "Where there is no struggle, there can be no progress." Whereas this day, February 14th, 25 years ago, witnessed the bombing of the home of Malcolm X, who responded with these words, "I have never advocated any violence. We should defend ourselves against the violence of others." Whereas, in the words of Ella Baker, we must struggle every day and every year until we win. Be it resolved that February 14th through February 21st, we declare Mandela Week throughout the college community, and that the faculty, staff, and students celebrate, discuss, and support this victory on the road to the inevitable demise of racist apartheid in South Africa. This proclamation will be posted tomorrow. President Jackson.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. To the Honorable Major General Joseph Garba, to the distinguished members of the rostrum, to you, the students, faculty, and members of the Medgar Evers College family. It gives me great pleasure to welcome such a distinguished person to our campus. It is appropriate for us to feel extremely good and have take an enormous sense of pride in what is occurring here at Medgar Evers College this evening. This is a historic moment for us, whether you recognize it or not. But it is rare for any institution of higher learning to have such a high and distinguished official of the United Nations to be joining us here in our celebration of Afro-American Month. It is also appropriate that this occur on the heels of the release of Nelson Mandela in South Africa. As I said to all of our college family, that Medgar Evers College is a great place to be. It is a great place because we make up this institution. We, people of color. And that we have a tremendous responsibility to keep the fires of knowledge and to maintain that the struggle is not over, not today, not tomorrow. But we must be committed to the cause. So I am just delighted, Major Garba, in terms of your being here with us, because this is again in keeping with our thrust in being a premier institution of higher learning in the City University of New York, in the city and state and nation. We take an enormous sense of pride in welcoming you to our fine institution. Thank you for being so kind and generous. And taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us this evening. This is an evening that will go down in the history of Medgar Evers College in terms of having you join us in our celebration. Thank you for being with us.
Distinguished people all, it is a great pleasure for me to present to you that great son of the largest republic on the planet Earth, the Republic of Nigeria. A land which received its independence from the oppressors on the 1st of October 1960. A land that is made rich by the Niger and the Benue. A land that has more than 120 million people, nearly 50% of them a part of some type of workforce. This great gentleman comes to us from a land of great promise, a land that is under the power of the red, the black, and the green. A land that is protected by the vertical green, white, and green stripe. The great land, Nigeria, the land of great African people. This great gentleman, Major General Joseph Nanven Garba, His Excellency, President of the 44th session of the United Nations General Assembly, is with us. He's a black man who holds his own United Nations on September, a certain date, 1989. And now he holds one of the highest positions in the world, the President of the 44th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Now, you may ask, who is this great gentleman? He was educated in England. He did national defense work in India. He's a graduate of Harvard University with his MBA. He's a fellow of the Institute of Politics and Center for International Affairs at Harvard University. Now, you may ask, I'm not going to tell you all, because it would be, as County Cullen said so beautifully, a book one thumbs listlessly till slumber comes. But I do want you to know more about this gentleman. He has commanded various military units for his country. He was a member of the United Nations peacekeeping force in India-Pakistan struggle, 1965-1966. He was Minister of Foreign Affairs in Nigeria from 1975 to 1978. He was Commandant of the Nigerian Defense Academy from 1978 to 1979. He was Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Nigeria to the United Nations, 1984 to 1989. Of course, he's now the President of the Assembly. But you say, is that all? There is more. We don't know who walks among us. He was the leader of the Nigerian delegation to the United Nations General Assembly session in 1975-78. He was the leader of Nigeria's delegation to the OAU, which we know is the Organization of African Unity, the summit in 1976. He was the leader of Nigeria's delegation to the OAU Council of Ministers. That's another date. I don't want to bother you. Remember, just know who he is. He's the leader of the delegation to the Non-Aligned Conference in Colombo, Sri Lanka in 1975, so he didn't just begin. President of the World Conference for Action Against Apartheid, Lagos, Nigeria, in 1900. He has been a part of a great struggle. He was the leader of Nigeria's delegation to the United Nations Special Session in Namibia, in New York, in 1978, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And at one time, he was the president of the United Nations, that session that has to do with the maintenance of world peace. That is the, what's the name of it? It has to do with, what was that? He was in charge of what? You don't know? The United Nations is divided into sections now. He's the president of the General Assembly. But at one time, he was the president of the Security Council. A's for that. Security Council. I knew if we asked it long enough and loud enough, we would get an answer. He's done so much special work for the United Nations. He's done so much work of special interest and to the benefit of so many people. He's written books. He's done lectures all over the world. And he stands as a black man among men. He's received honors all over the world. And we are very proud of him. We're proud of this son of Africa. We're proud of this son of the great Nigerian people. We are proud of His Excellency, Major General Joseph Nanven Garba, President of the United Nations General Assembly.
must come back for this great occasion. And I'm glad that I did make it. As the President said, just a few weeks ago, we celebrated together the holiday marking the birth of that great African American, Dr. Martin Luther King. 3 days ago, the international community celebrated the release of Nelson Mandela from Apartheid prisons. As we celebrate Black History Month, I think we must pause and reflect on the true meaning of our celebrations. Over the years, people of African descent have been involved in various forms of struggle. Today, our involvement in this struggle covers, I believe, a broad spectrum, ranging from political to social and economic. The continuous struggle of blacks in the diaspora have been highlighted at different times by specific and distinct issues. It was either the civil rights movement in the United States or the Pan-African movement of W.B. Du Bois and Medgar Evers. But then, the struggle by independent African states would hardly be an exception. Today, the true reality of our collective struggles can be measured, I believe, in the gains that we have made and indeed continue to make. Whatever successes we have achieved have not been easy. They have not come cheaply by any means. As we celebrate Black History Month, I am most mindful of some recent events that can only serve as reminders of where we have been and where we are going. We have entered the last decade of this century on a positive note. Just as we were relishing Jesse Jackson's very remarkable campaign for the White House, we are yet again reminded of what hard work could achieve. Last November, in the state of Virginia and New York City, blacks were elected respectively to the position of governor and mayor. While Governor Douglas Wilder's and Mayor David Dinkins won their elections on their personal merit and record, their respective victories were our collective victory also. That same month, in Namibia, SWAPO won the elections that will lead to Namibian independence come the 21st of March 1990. And as the euphoria of this victory were beginning to wear off, the development in South Africa rejuvenated our joy and our efforts. The year 1990, while yet only in its second month, has given us hope and is indicating that this decade is bound to be one of black political and economic empowerment. The release of Nelson Mandela and the developments we envisage in South Africa spell for us hope. Hope that the sufferings and the struggle of those before us will not be in vain. Hope that the sacrifices of people like Dr. Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Steve Biko, and Nelson Mandela will be for us all a beacon of inspiration and guidance, a challenge to excel in whatever we do. But more importantly, while acknowledging the gains we have made, I believe it is incumbent on all of us to look ahead and decide if we have indeed built the foundation that will produce global, political, and economic empowerment for peoples of African descent, wherever they may be. Mr. President, equally important is the need to delve into the prevailing image crisis that have beset the black world, and more so, the continent of our genesis, Africa. With these thoughts in my mind, I thought that I would use this August occasion to focus on the broad question of the image crisis that has beset the black world, the world of Africans, and the world people of African descent. Hopefully, I hope I can draw my experience in the United Nations system, and even from my experience within the last 5 months as the President of the United Nations General Assembly. There's no gainsaying the fact that Africa today remains an embattled continent. It is embattled not because of its own making, and definitely not because of its own design and volition. The peace-filled political, socio-economic, and cultural problems that beset the continent of Africa, from the Cape of Good Hope to the Gulf of Sahel, from the Horn of Africa to the Gulf of Guinea, find their antecedents not from Africa's inability to manage its own welfare, but tangentially from how Africa's welfare has been vicariously managed in the past, and how our fortunes continue to be affected by non-African influence. The foregoing is not in any way an apologia for Africa's own lapses and our collective shortcomings where they do exist. Rather, it is a factual assessment of the true state of affairs, given that countries of Africa, as an integral part of the international community, must coexist in a competitive and grossly selfish, always interdependent world. Today, the story of Africa, the story that ever gets told, particularly in the West, is the story of death, disease, hunger, famine, and political instability. It is the story of the seesaw, one in which Africa is always burdened with debt weight, and therefore always on the downside. Hunger in Ethiopia and Sudan, the scourge of AIDS, which we are told originated from Africa. And I keep telling people the story that if AIDS originated from Africa, I think every African would have died by now. Certainly Nigeria wouldn't have the 120 million that we talked about. I'm sure Nigerians here will bear me out. And within these plethora of problems and inequities, there persists the question of image, and even of that elemental questions, which by now ought to be taken for granted. The question of all men and women being born equal, and supposedly being endowed with certain inalienable rights by their creator. If this question does not arise, I ask you, how come 5 million whites continue to subjugate 28 million blacks in South Africa, in total defiance of the global call for an end to apartheid? These issues are very worrisome. For even in a forum, an enlightened forum like the United Nations, one finds a disturbing trend of indifference that borders on what I call selective amnesia. If not, how does one explain the fact that in addressing the just concluded session of the General Assembly, neither the United States President, George Bush, nor the Soviet Foreign Minister, Joseph Nanven, deigned to make any reference to apartheid South Africa in their speeches? How does one explain that the parallel economic situation in Africa, with accumulated trade as people of African descent, irrespective of our domicile in diaspora, remain indifferent to the plight of Africa and Africans? Can we afford to allow others to define and pronounce our fate, and in the same realm, expect them out of altruism to salvage our fortunes, even if it means their own misfortune? Thank you. Maybe I should ask more questions since you're so patient. What is the fate of African nations, given the growing detente between the United States and the Soviet Union? What will be our fate now that we must compete for scarce resources and Western assistance with those nations of Eastern Europe in this area of glass? What will be the collective fate of Africa in the unfolding unification of the European community in 1992? It was not too long ago when Africa was called the white man's burden. Today, I believe we've reached the threshold where the white man is unapologetically shedding that burden and responsibility, but where Africa must assume full responsibility for its own fate. On the eve of the last decade of this century, I wonder if we as people of African descent, as black people, are cognizant of our role and our responsibility to posterity to ensure that the next century is one in which blacks in the diaspora prosper. A century in which the so-called decline of the great powers can be translated to economic rebirth and political empowerment for all Africans. History tells us, I think, that that Egypt is the cradle of civilization. If that is true, civilization is unquestionably Afrocentric. Our continent is endowed with great natural resources, and indeed with high potential in all fields of human endeavors. These vast resources must, however, be harnessed and directed to attain our objective, which in a very simple term is to restore dignity of the black man and black woman. To achieve this, we all, I believe, have a role to play in our respective capacities. The survival of the black race lies not so much on the theoretical and holistic definition and tenets of Pan-Africanism, but more importantly, on the singular contribution of every individual in their everyday endeavors. An affluent, erudite, brilliant, and successful black man and woman is a tribute to each of our race, as much as scum, degenerate, and despicable holiness is an affront and disgrace to ours. It is a matter of choice. A choice that must be born of political will and courage to become individually and collectively who and what each of us wish to be. Every man, every woman, every child has a role to play in attaining this worthy objective. Mr. Jackson, distinguished sisters and brothers, in honoring me today, you honor yourselves. You honor Nigeria, and you honor the great continent of Africa. You honor the singular will of African member states of the United Nations, who, despite differences and difficult choices, found a basis for consensus in endorsing my candidature as their candidate for the presidency of the United Nations. In honoring me, you honor our desire to always act in concert for our collective interests, despite of our personal idiosyncrasies. We must have necessity to continue our quest for uplifting the black race. stand before you proud and worthy son of Africa. I salute you all and salute our collective resilience in the face of daunting odds. Permit me, Mr. President, to repeat here what I said in my inaugural address when I assumed the presidency of the General Assembly. I quote, "Peace is not secured unless it is founded on and accompanied by economic justice. Poverty, hunger, and other forms of economic deprivation, still so prevalent in many developing countries, represent as much a threat to international peace and security as pockets of regional conflicts scattered around the globe. International peace and security we have so assiduously sought to promote stands threatened by lack of progress in the economic field and focus. To achieve peace, we all have a role to play, an individual role, which must be founded first on self-pride, the pride of being African or being of African descent. I can only place to you here that in my capacity as President of the General Assembly, I will continue to do my utmost best to represent the black race and the interests of the black race, and in so doing, contribute to global peace and security. On the matter of African Renaissance and the progress of black people, I should perhaps restate what our omnibus and collective aspirations be. Our vision of Africa is of a continent whose dignity and independence shall be reinforced by the birth of a free and sovereign Namibia. An Africa free of the scourge of apartheid. An Africa that will direct its energies to the urgent needs of development of its people. An Africa that would uphold the rights and defend the interests of the peoples of African descent wherever they may be. An Africa that will have the courage, the will, and the determination to summon the creative ingenuity and acknowledge the resourcefulness of its people. An Africa that will make major contributions to and use advances in science and technology to enhance its productive capacity and development. I have a vision of a self-confident Africa in which democracy and human rights will flourish, an Africa that will be the home of every black man and black woman on earth. Let us, Mr. President, distinguished sisters and brothers, go forth with this vision
and Dr. Seal of the Division of Social Sciences. Dr. Veronica Medgar Garba, also from Nigeria. Yvonne Bennett and the Black History Month Committee. Ms. Marge Battle of the President's Office. President Jackson again for providing the reception. On the dais, we have three presidents, including President Brad Meyer of the Government Association. That's recognized our Provost, Dr. Roberta Mays. Again, before we adjourn for war celebration, let me remind you that this next week is Mandela Week. Encourage your classes to find ways to discuss the liberation of people of South Africa. Encourage yourselves to do something in support of South Africa's liberation.
Did he say he was going to give out the cases?
He's waiting to